All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for coming and joining me in our podcast here, Fostering Lives. We're in this segment, this is segment 4 of grandmothers and grandparents stepping up to the challenge of taking our kids. And I have two special guests here today, both grandmoms, and taking care of the kids in a special kind of way. So I think we're going to have a dynamic conversation. We'd like you to come on and join us, join our podcast, join our email, join our um, website at fosteringlivesesi.com. Again, that's fosteringlivesesi.com. And let's get together to make some things happen. Our babies need us. We will be there for them. But there are a lot of challenges that we run into. And we're going to talk about it with these two wonderful grandparents that we have here tonight. I'd like to introduce you to Renee. Um, Renee, I forgot your last name, sweetheart.
Zachary.
Zachary. I should know that. Renee
Yes.
Zachary, who is now the grandparent of a 4-year-old child that has specific um, behavior issues and dealing with autism. We also have Beatrice Baylor here, who isn't directly uh, fully caring for her child, but she's kind of taking care of her child and her grandchildren all together, but just giving some grandmotherly wit because she's been there, done that. So together we're going to try to come up with some solutions or some ideas. We hope you continue to join us as we go through our podcast here of fostering lives and specifically our grandparents raising children again. And I'm going to go very quickly about the two podcasts that we've had already and just get a little input from our ladies. I started off with talking about the unexpected journey. How did you feel when you first heard the news that you had to begin to take care of your grandchild? What were your feelings? So I'm going to ask both of you, and it's either taking care of your grandchild fully or partially. How did you feel when you found that this additional responsibility was now on your shoulders? We'll start with Renee. How do you feel? How did you feel initially?
Well, before I got my grandchild, she was pregnant, of course. And I was asked a question, hey mom, would you take the baby? Because this relationship is not going to work out. And I said, oh boy, of course. Not understanding that they was for real. Uh, so I was excited because this is my first grandchild. I'm saying yes to everything. Please don't abort him. Um, yes, I take the baby. So I was excited, not knowing.
How did he know this is your son, right? Your son
Mm-hmm.
asked him. How did he know the mother didn't want to keep the baby?
There was one of those one night stands.
Oh, okay.
So she already had 3 other children that she wasn't really taking care of. Her mother was taking care of them, and she pops up pregnant. Was already in another relationship, so they decided they did not want to have this child together. And he calls me in the middle of the night and saying, Mom, would you take the kid? And I'm like, sure. I don't want her to abort the baby. Yes, this is my first kid and his first kid. So, yes, I'm excited. I'm out buying cribs and all kinds of gadgets for a newborn.
Mm,
So, yes, I was extremely excited.
okay. We're going to talk about what did that excitement continue. I'll tell you in my case, um,
Mm-hmm.
I got a phone call in my office one morning that said, Mom, they're taking my child. And my immediate response was, well, son, I didn't know you were pregnant. So that was just a normal response for me. And
Mm-hmm.
then I got to again a one night stand. The young lady got pregnant. She had just had a baby 9 months before, and she did not want this child. And so, yes, like you, I was kind of excited. I spoke with my husband about it, and I said, well, you know that this might be a 18-year situation. So, uh, so I understand the excitement, excitement.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Bailey, even though you're not fully taking care of your kids and family kind of move back in your house. How did that feel? And you kind of had the burden of taking care of them and your daughter.
Okay.
How did that feel?
Well, I was excited, happy. Oh, my family's coming because after having six kids growing and they're grown and growing up, I was feeling lonely. And so, oh boy, I was going to have a house full of kids and the parent. I just thought it was such a blissful time. Boy, did I know I was ready for them people to hurry up and leave.
Mhm.
They had
So,
to get out of my house. They kept it cluttered. They, oh boy, it was just so much work. I didn't
so
realize that all that joy that when they were coming ran out of me. Now I was helping them move. Hurry up, let's find a house. So
Yeah.
I'm still trying to raise Hope, my daughter, with the grandkids. I mean, you got to watch who you have kids by because all of them were left on mommy and grandma. Okay. I'm sorry, I have animals. These are my kids too. They have to be a part of this. Okay.
Right.
But what was I saying? Now I'm trying to help. I'm trying to teach these young girls, and it's three beautiful girls, how to be ladylike, how to believe in God and prayer and be. Oh, come on, y'all. Wait a minute. We can't do this. Hold on. I'm sorry. And I'm having the other family members, the other side, teaching them it's fun to party, drink, and twerk. It's hard. So I'm the mean grandma. I'm the strict grand. I'm the strict. I'm sorry. This is not going to
no
be.
need to apologize. Your new babies are the furry ones. And I have a couple myself, and so I definitely agree.
Yes.
But what is interesting is initially all of us were extremely excited. Um, I'd
Until they
like
come.
to know extremely exciting, but excitement kind of changed over a period of time.
Right.
What was some of the immediate challenges that you faced and adjustments that you had to make? Can you share a little bit of what adjust when you first came? Now you have an infant. My infant was 7 days old, but yours was a newborn. What kind of challenges did you face initially? Because at that time you were in your, if you don't sharing, you were in your late 40s, right? You were in your 40s, 50s?
For me. Oh, no.
I'm
For
shaking
me,
my head.
wait, I was in my
We can
60s.
we can lie to each other about our age, but we know.
Sure. Uh,
And that's
I was 60 when I got 60, 61, somewhere around there. And I'm getting a baby at 7 months old. Now, mind you, uh, Georgie was 6 months old. And a little before that, she kept on calling me saying when I come to see him. Now, mind you, I was there through labor, the whole 9 yards. I was there. He even stayed overnight in the hospital while he was, going through the jaundice and issues with having drugs in the system. So it was a lot. And and I'm just meeting her for the first time. So not to forget the question that you asked me, but it was an adjustment because I had to get my home ready. I had to talk to my husband, would he be interested? Of course, he was like not on board. And I'm thinking, how dare you not be on board? This is our first baby. Duh, I should have listened. but uh, but no, it was an adjustment. So I mean, but I was still excited. Just the smell of a newborn, just having him cry, just being an instant mommy without the labor pains,
Well,
you
that
know.
always is a joy. Um,
Yeah,
for my granddaughter, I got her at 7 days, but it was I didn't have a diaper, a bottle, I had crib,
right.
nothing. So I had to get it. And you would think that, and I was 48 when I got her. And then turn around when she was now in college and quite self-sufficient, decided like Beatrice said, I needed some more little feet in the house and started to foster and wind up with now a 6-year-old child who was severely burned and had some behavior issues that they didn't tell me anything about, and that's a whole nother story chapter we'll be talking about. And a year or so later after that, uh, she had a sibling, and they asked me to take this 4-day-old baby. Now, by this time, I'm in my late 60s, and so it's like, okay, a brand new infant diapers, bottles, all of these kinds of things in the house again. Interesting. I had to pray on that a while. I have to because they asked me, and she was still in the hospital, the baby, and I had to really pray on that. And I felt, for me, at that time, that the older one, the 8-year-old at the time, needed somebody that was really her blood to help her heal. And it did work out to be very helpful to her. But we've been on a road, and we'll talk about that road at some other time. But yes, it is a major adjustment. And as Beatrice was alluding to, you were excited about them all coming to your house until they got there.
Right, right.
And then,
Then I didn't realize how loud, how crazy it was, and how it was making me crazy. And maybe because I was older, like I said, I was in my 60s, like Renee. You're like, it's different when you're in your 40s.
Right.
But when you're in your 60s, the noise is just a little too loud. The hollering, the screaming, the playing, not that they were doing anything wrong. It was just they didn't go to sleep on time. Okay. And they were kids. They were kids. But it was just too much as we getting older now. This is our time to relax and smile and love on them. But we have more responsibility than just to love on them or
Well,
watch maybe for days. Go ahead.
I was going to say I was probably a little different because I had an empty house. So
Right,
just the sound of
right,
not having my older children around at all, and
right,
they all live in different states, and to have this little noise, this little crying, it was exciting because
right.
now it's like I have something to do because I've been by myself, other than my husband, but it was just I welcome that noise, that in the middle of the night, that cry, that was exciting. And before he even came here, I already had stacks of diapers and bottles and every gadget. Y'all know me. I can get every kind of gadget just to just to have it because I'm like, oh, I'm a mommy. I wanted to give my own self a baby shower.
you
So,
kidding me?
so I was excited.
Right. I mean,
We're
no,
just,
nothing wrong.
yeah.
When you don't have it in a long time, it is
Right.
exciting. I'm going to say that. But after you have 15 grandkids, it starts
Wow.
getting,
Yeah.
yeah. And I had
Yeah.
most of them because I have some in the other states that don't have my time. But the 10 that lived in my city, I had,
Okay.
so yeah.
But I
But that
can,
first time, that first grandbaby, I'm sorry. Yeah, you want to be there all the time. And I
Yeah.
get, I
um,
get,
B, I was jealous of y'all having more grandkids. I'm like, I don't have any.
well, my granddaughter was my first grand, and
Okay.
I
Uh-huh.
would have walked on water for her. If,
Right.
so when I got notice from the hospital that she had already selected a family, she was planning to put her up for adoption, and and I'm like, hold up, that's my first grandbaby. That is not going to happen. Picked up the phone, called the lawyer, and stopped that immediately. So
Right.
because they hadn't let my son know the plans or given him an opportunity to say I want or don't want. So that was pretty easy to put a stop to. However, even after she's 18, 19 years old, now in college, but she's living in the dorm, and I'm like, gee, I miss some noise. This is not fun here. I need some noise, which is why I looked into fostering. I said, oh, well, now I'm an educator all these years, and just being a grandmom, I need some noise. I need some little people,
Mhm.
which is why I went into fostering adoption. So I can relate with what Lee is saying. You get that empty nesting feeling, and you feel that you need some additional noise in the house. However, that changes. Um,
Yeah.
it really changes. It really does, and it also affects the relationship with your adult children.
Right.
Um, it sometimes creates friction and problems and all kinds of things that can occur.
Oh,
And a lot of grandparents, as I read through Facebook and other places, have a lot of problems with the changes in the adult relationship. And what I share with a lot of parents that respond to me on Facebook and say, "Oh, my daughter seems to hate me because I have her kids," and I'm like, you know something? Once you take over the responsibility of that child, of that baby, that's your first responsibility. If your child is addicted or incarcerated or being whatever, got their own issues, let it be their issues. Don't incorporate because you drag yourself and the children through whatever their mess is. They are grown.
right.
I didn't say you didn't love them, help them when you can, but don't let them get so entwined. Don't let them get their mess entwined in you because it will completely upend your peace and what you're trying to do. It's difficult enough that you have a small child in your
Right.
60s.
Right.
To try to fix their issues will make you insane.
Right.
And you will truly
Yes.
make you
I'm laughing at
insane.
her.
And that's something you can't do because they're grown.
Yeah, but you
Whatever,
can keep
and
reminding them. You can keep reminding that they're grown and they should make adult decisions.
and you
Not
can't rescue them
no,
all
and
the
they got
time.
a real right, but you can keep trying to just drill it into them. Come on, you're not just by yourself. You got kids that looking up at you. And what do our babies? They look at the parent, grandparent, whoever's there with the most. I'm gonna beat you.
You know, a
So
lot of times I find grandparents have a guilt complex. Something I did is why you're like you are.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, or lots of times, kids say that. Well, I'm
that
like this because you didn't do A, B, C, D, E.
I
My
don't feel that
record,
way. I feel if I did something wrong, then you clean it up, or you didn't like what I did, or you felt, then do better. You do better. You take it because I'm gonna tell you, some kids take what they don't like about their parents and try to correct it, but make mistakes somewhere else in raising them. So you're
I
going to make mistakes.
that I
I
try to tell I'm sorry, baby. Go ahead, Renee.
I heard what they said. You spoiled your child, you raised your grandchild, or something like that. It's some saying that goes something like that. And that was my problem. I have a grown adult son uh, that this is his only child. And he is like stepping away, like, all right, mom, like, here, you do it. And he refused to get involved in his own child's life. And it's so perplexing to me that this is your only kid and you hated your father for not being involved in your life, and then you turn around and do the same thing. And he promised me, oh, mom, no, he says, thank you, mom, for all that you do, but you're not getting involved. Now, my baby done been to jail over this situation. I had to go to court to get custody of my grandbaby, uh, even with the mom, and neither one of them has stepped up to the plate. It's almost like, hey, here, giving him away like he's some kind of object or a toy or something. And it's like they wash their hands of the kid. And I find it disgusting that they don't want to be a part of his life,
And
and leave it all on me.
that's a challenge. That's a real challenge because it's disappointing in your own child.
Mhm.
This is how did my child turn out like this?
Yeah.
And I say to so many people, I say, you did the best you could when you had your children. You loved your children, you did the best you could. So you cannot have a guilt complex about it. Whatever your child's issue is, it is his issue. Your
Mhm.
responsibility, if you take on the challenge of that child, becomes the child first. The child is the biggest responsibility. And sometimes that means hurting the feelings of your biological child.
Right.
Sometimes it means doing tough love with your biological child. Sometimes that means being very real. Because if you don't, you have to not only protect the child, you got to protect yourselves.
Yeah.
Because you're not 30 and 40 anymore. You're 60 and 70. It's a
Yes.
Yeah.
big difference.
Right.
It's you can't do the things you used to do. It's a big difference. So you have to protect yourself because what
You're
you
talking
want
about
to
a
do,
grown man. Yes.
if you
Mhm.
what you don't want to happen is you make yourself sick and you won't be around to protect the baby.
Right.
Right.
But
True.
our kids know how, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say use us.
Right.
Because if you tell me, my little baby, oh, I'm going to take it to the father, and I don't like how they do things, okay, I won't put it out there, but I don't like how they'll drink around the baby. Somebody might fall on the baby. So I'm going to take my baby. I know it's safe, it's with me. Good. And she knows that too. So
Mhm.
And
that's
that's
where
okay.
I can't say no. Okay, you don't want to babysit? I'll take him over to dad. That's the last thing I want you to do.
And they know
So
that.
I'm gonna. They know that, and they use.
Yeah, they know us.
Yes, yes,
Let's be honest and say our children are used to us cleaning up their messes. Okay?
right,
True.
right,
Mhm.
And they expect us to continue to clean up their mess.
Right.
yes,
And so
Mhm.
that's why they bring their mess to us. And then what you have to do is say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is my, if it's accepting the baby when you know you don't want it to go in an environment you don't want, that's what you accept and you okay with it.
right,
And even though you know she's using you for that, that's, I thank God that you're available to be used for that baby.
right.
Okay? I thank God that you're available to be used. And you let her know that too.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
You let her know that. You let her know, I know this is what you're doing, but I'm going to take my baby,
Right,
you know.
right,
And they
And
know that we are. They
and
know we're
right,
gonna take the kid, you
right,
know?
it's okay. That's your precious, that's your angel. You're
Mhm.
not going to let nothing happen to it. So that's fine.
Right.
And a part of what I want to really do here in this podcast is to let other grandmothers know it's okay. We all feel that way. We are
right,
not letting our babies be in an environment that we feel is unsafe if we can help it. And
right.
that's okay. And God bless
And
each and every
I
one of us.
don't think are dangerous as they going. It's just that these young parents don't realize you don't. You might want to party and drink with you, and that's okay. But you don't need the kids there. They're watching everything you do, everything you say. Kids need to go upstairs, be in the room watching TV. They do not need to be in the mix with the adults.
Okay, well, that's another conversation we're going to have because today parent raising is a lot different
Lot difference.
than when you and I came up. I
Right,
Right.
very clearly remember my grandmother telling us to go out and get a switch, get a switch, and if you did something wrong, they tore your butt.
right,
You can't do that now, and they know you can't do that now because now they will tell on you.
right,
And
right. And
I
you
used to,
see how messed up our kids are now.
really, really not. And that's another course that I'm showing. How do you parent children of the 21st century that'll say to you, well, I'll call VHS on you, and you're gonna say, okay, I'm going up the pack, so you'll be ready when they come. You know?
Right,
So that's what they throw at you. So parenting is a little bit different. Or just even the language. I used to remember as a teenager, we had our own groovy or whatever it was, slang
right,
language our parents did. And these kids today, it took me forever to know what IDK was on texting or
Oh yeah,
BTW, and I'm still don't know what it is. You know, so it's a whole, and it's things that were totally unacceptable. The sexual over nuances of today is just unbelievable. But our kids saying parents being okay with kids cussing, that's not good. Not
oh, they
good.
think it's funny.
Or they think it's
Yeah.
cute. Or how do you see this little 5-year-old twerking? That's not
Right.
funny to
That's
me. That's
disgusting.
not
Yeah.
cute.
Right. Right.
So the next question I want to ask you is how do you find balancing between parent and grandparent? Now, Beatrice, you said something earlier. You said your grandchildren don't like to come over as much as they used to because you've become more strict.
Right, right. They gotta
And
come. I'm sorry, I'm the street lights. When the street lights, and they can't go off the block. So now they can go across the street. I'm on a small block, and they can go up the street, down the street, but not close to the alleyways because cars turn around and shoot. So you got to be not that far from my home. But you can go, you have up and down, and now you have to come on. You have to be in front of the door when the lights come on.
how is
You have
that
to
different?
be on the porch when it gets dark.
How's that
Why is
different from
that?
when
Because,
I'm sorry, how's that different from when you raised your children?
because at night they could go sit on so and so across the street, and they could sit on so and so up the street. A parent was out. It was okay. We were watching. There was no shooting. No shooting. No helicopters. No, I mean, you sit out on your porch. I think I hear a police car every 10 minutes.
Mm.
If it's not the police car, it's the ambulance, and then here comes the helicopter. It's just ridiculous. I can't even. I used to send my 7-year-old to the corner store. I won't even send my 18-year-old to the corner store. So it's a lot different now.
How are you finding it, Renee? How are you finding the difference between parenting your grandson and your sons? What's different?
You know what? This one, my grandson is seemed to be so different from my children. My children, if I say something, what I say meant so much to them, and they would listen. I don't know. It's because my grandson has autism, where kind of just go over his head. Uh, I could pop my children, and they would listen. You know, they
Right.
when we was coming up, we feared our parents. You know, in a
Right.
loving way. So what they say meant, you better not do it. You can give a check, or I can get my kids to look, and they know they better not do it. I do the same look to my grandchild. He's like, what's wrong with her eye? What's wrong with her? You know, oh, he is so he's so different. Where he'll go, what is this? Help, 911. This is look. I thought I was a drama queen. This boy got me beat. He is so dramatic, and I'm like, I could pop him. It means nothing. Fearless. I'm like, I can't blame it on McDonald's, Wendy's, or what. I mean, what is in our food that this kid fears
Truthfully, I
nothing?
think it's all the kids because I got a 10-month-old, and when I pop her and say no, not for spitting,
Uh-huh.
Miss Mitchell can tell you, she gives me the Chucky look. I like I'm supposed to be scared. She 10 months. She
I
don't.
agree.
Yes, like
Fear
did you do
nothing.
this? Yes.
Yes.
So I have to say it's all over because when you
Yeah.
pop, the kid would cry and. But this one gives me like, I dare you. How dare you put your hand on me?
I have a police officer when my grandbaby was 3 years old in school. So I finally got the chance to meet Officer Rowe, and I'm thinking, because I always scared, don't be, trying to put no handcuffs on no baby now. He got
Right.
autism or whatever. But he said, let me tell you something about him. That boy is fast and he is fearless. So of course, immediately I'm thinking, oh my God, he's gonna be a prisoner. He's gonna be in jail. I'm doing the best I can. I'm raising the kid right. But he's not scared. He's not scared. I'd be like telling my husband, like, put your stern voice on so you can scare him. Georgie laughs. It's like, you ain't scared. I ain't scared. You know, that kind of thing. I ain't scared. You know, so I'm like, ooh, what you scared? So to say my children and I can act a fool and be dramatic with the looks and all that stuff and threaten their life, they would think, oh, she might do that. You're just like, please. It's a joke.
Right.
So yeah, that's the
Wow.
difference, y'all.
I mean, I really believe it's, and I can't even say the TV shows, because I'll turn on the TV. Now they'll watch something if it's something's out or new.
Mhm.
Mainly it's the phones. And what's on the phone is always horrible. Yeah, and then they want to prank you. I'm old. Don't prank me. I don't want to, I'm grandma's old, and don't do that. But this is what they are learning on their phones, and let's do this, and let's
But
do that.
baby, I'm controlling mine. He only gets the alphabets. Like if you hear in the background, Dave and Ava. It's like kid stuff. Always learning, teaching stuff. So I don't expose them to those different things.
Right.
But
So
even if
it's
you,
like, where is it coming from?
it's
Okay.
in the atmosphere, and it's basically, in my opinion, it's a societal shift. And when I say societal shift, it means what was acceptable or not acceptable when we were coming up, they kind of accept now. And that's not necessarily healthy. There were times on TV where certain things, I mean, we couldn't even see a toilet on a TV show.
Right.
Now they show go on the toilet and what you do after.
Right.
You could see people going into a bedroom, but you wouldn't necessarily see them having sex. And now they have sex. So our
Right.
2-year-olds know what sex is. Um,
Yeah.
you wouldn't see somebody like on TikTok. Every young woman is shaking her behind in the camera. What is that about? That's so sexualizing our young women.
And wearing lingerie.
For
What
It's street
about
food.
the cussing? They used to didn't like when we grew up. You would love to hear a cuss word.
right,
Or what they're saying now is whoa.
not only
They
do they
giving
cuss, they tell you
outlets
where
the
to put
big
it.
word.
Yeah. So it's a societal shift. The kids will only do what they're allowed to do. And so, back in 1971, when I had just came out of college, and I was doing my student teaching in West Philadelphia High School, they said, "Oh, the new thing is the teacher, your students can call you by your first name." I said, "No kid better ever call me by my first name. I earned my Miss Mitchell or Miss Yvette at that time, Miss
Right.
Baylor. I earned that." No, no. And no, it's not okay that they chew gum or whatever. And I don't care how modern. Don't call me by my first name. No. And they
Right.
also changed the dress code. They dropped the dress code and it was no longer it had to be to your knee. And it started getting higher and higher. Now it's up to panty line. So, and then you even have new teachers who are coming out of school at 21 and they're wearing their blouses down to their navel and teaching high school. You got 17-year-old boys there. What do you expect? What is that saying to kids? So
Right.
it's what society is showing our children is acceptable is what they're doing. So
Right.
we need to change some of the things that we're thinking about. This is just my opinion. This is Dr. Mitchell's own edification of what I think is a problem with our society. And it's very hard for us to balance. You said your child is fearless. He's fearless because that's what he hears and sees. Somewhere, wherever it is, he hears and sees it. My teenager is somewhat fearless, but I'm a little sterner. And I'm not going to hit you or anything, but your consequences are not going to be one you like. And with the 7-year-old, I put my mouth down close to her ear, and I'm like, "You will not embarrass me because if you do, you will not like what happened." And it doesn't mean physical punishment, but I thought you wanted an iPad. Really?
I'm
not
sorry. I believe we should knock them out because if you talk to a kid more than twice, they should be knocked out. I'm sorry. I believe in the old way. Hit them on the hand, hit them on the butt. But
gonna-
what you talking and screaming? No. I'm like, let's just take the kids and tear them up. That's what, hey, they learn. Guess
as a
what?
professional,
But you
as
know
a,
what? They
as,
How
actually
many
don't learn.
times did we
as a,
get hit with a belt, switch, iron cord? But guess what? We knew the consequences of
as,
what we did wrong.
We
Now
know
you
it,
put
but these kids
time out,
don't act like
that
they know
time
it.
out, they going to time in the jail. That's what that time out means.
um,
I'm in the
as
jail.
as a professional, I cannot
Okay,
condone
say the
that.
profession.
As a professional, I cannot condone that. I don't say that I 100% disagree with you. I think that consequences need to be in place and kids need to understand the consequences. Um, and that's what's missing. Kids need to understand. I
You
might,
just don't have time because if you punish a child, you punish yourself. Because you got to be in the house with the child. If
Then
you,
even with
yeah,
the spanking, I'm like, my hands is not even strong enough anymore. It seemed
you
like,
get
child, to go
tired.
to pop straps, I'm hurting, and chasing after a 5-year-old. Oh Lord.
But if
Oh.
you tell a child, do not put that on the table, put it in the trash, put it in the trash, put it in the trash. How many times you going to say that?
Child, all day long, that's me. Just saying it.
Yes.
And threaten life and it's like, please, over the head.
Yes,
Over the
threaten
head.
them and say that, and then it doesn't work. Now it's time to pop. I believe if you pop a child, I'm not saying go in there and bash
Yeah,
it
we ain't talking about this crazy
or
foolishness.
whelping all this crazy beating because they're
No.
children.
Right.
But we got to go back to popping. I'm sorry, the rules, whoever the professor is, somehow, well, we don't want to beat them.
Right.
You didn't have, now they shooting everybody, killing everybody, coming up. Now it used to be the 21 to 30. Now it's the 13. Come on, pop your kids. Don't let them do, I'm
I
serious.
believe in
What about
consequences.
punishments for a month? We it was punished when we were teenagers for a month. We couldn't see the time of day. These are
The problem is parents aren't giving children consequences.
right.
They're
Or
not
they
giving
don't.
them
I
consequences.
don't really kind of blame the parents because they got to go out and work 2 and 3 jobs. They tired,
But you can do other that you
and
find
the
other.
dads are nowhere around, or the dads are doing the job, and the moms ain't nowhere around. So where these babies win at?
Again, you're talking about a
With tired
societal.
grandma.
You're still talking about you're talking
Yeah,
about societal issue again. It's society. What is being accepted in our society? When you look on some of the TV programs, how are the people interacting? How are the parents interacting? How are the family interacting? It's just a mess. So
and
we're gonna
you see this on TV. You see the backstabbing. You know the housewives. What are they? Oh, she's my friend, but when she turns her back, I'm going to be with her husband. You see that. I love my show, the sisters. We all love it, but come on.
I don't watch it.
I mean,
I don't.
there things on
I don't
TV.
watch it. I'm sorry.
I guess it means this.
Right, but I say the parents can watch. But when the kid is sitting up there, there's times we need to turn it off.
Well,
I, I
that's a
keep Elmo, and I miss all my shows because Elmo is on there. Elmo World keeps my little 10-month-old very quiet and patient. But it's a learning progress. I love Elmo.
you were confirming what I said. It's society. If the parents and some of our 35 and 40-year-old parents need to be maybe spanked,
Right. Well,
maybe
that's
I agree.
maybe
Yes.
spanked
I
because
mean, that's when it
a lot of
first
them.
came. This is the group that was first came out. You shouldn't hit. You should go look the other way. That's yeah. I'm the 30 something.
Right.
Yeah, that was when they first started.
Now, when
You
Dr.
know,
Spock started this mess about how you should rear your child,
right.
and we started buying into it, it was a problem. And
Right.
children don't run your household, and that's just the way it is. They don't. That's why God gave you parents so that you could rear the
And they
child.
give the kids options. It's not just my child. I've seen so many mothers. Whatever you like, whatever you want to do. Well, it ain't
Mhm.
your choice. It's
That's,
what I say. And that's how it's going to be. I
that
never heard a parent say, well, I'm going to ask the child what they want.
But
No.
that's what they do. They ask the
That's
child.
yes. It's so
It's
many of
crazy.
them. No, well,
Yeah.
I don't want to go.
and
Well, you
then
don't have to go. Yes, you do have to go to church. Yes, you do have to go to school. Yes, you do have to do your choice. Yes, it ain't whatever you like. Oh, I can't stand that.
again, that's society. We're talking about a societal shift and what we have allowed our children. And I think it started back with a lot of us coming from our generation that our parents really didn't have. We may have had it a little bit more, and we kind of overdo it to our
Right.
children. So they became a little, what's it called, entitled. They feel that everybody's owes them something, that the world owes them something. Therefore, they have children. They just, when they have children, they just think, hey, the world's supposed to take care of me or something. I don't know.
Well, I get it because their parents, whatever you like, birthday parties. I used to put some hot dogs on cake and ice cream, get in the house, sing happy birthday. Red carpets, a limousine outside. It could be a whole camel out there. Okay? I mean, balls that the kids have. You didn't have that at 21 and 30. But these mothers are outdoing themselves and spending so much money. These kids think they deserve that. No, A and B on your report card keeps you eating. You got to learn that. They got to teach. That's how you do. Yes, I might give you a little reward, but I ain't buying you a 75-inch TV because you got A's and B's.
That's your job.
Right.
And,
That is your job to get A's and B's, but our parents won't.
my 15-year-old did something the other day, and he said something to me. She said, "I bet you can say I'm thankful. Thank you." I said, "Sure. As soon as you say thank you, I bet I ate today. You know, thank you, I bet I have a bed that I slept in last night. You
Right.
tell me thank you. I'll talk to you about it. I guess don't give me that stuff. What you doing? You go in there and wash those dishes, and I'm not paying you a dime to do it because you ate out of it. That kind of thing." But it's again societal norm. So you need to work with your parents. And that's a part of what we're doing because a lot of grandparents get real frustrated with uh kids of today. And because they're a whole different genre and it's not just one, it's collectively they're thinking these things. And
Mhm.
so it makes it really your job harder. You know, the clothes. I fussed with my 15-year-old about, no, you're not going outside with it. No, no, that's not a school. No, nope. Well, sorry. No, no is no. When I say no and oh, it means no. It doesn't mean maybe. I'll think about it. It
Right.
means no. And
Right.
that's a big problem for parents just to be able to say no.
Yeah. A
Love
lot of
our
parents don't know how to
grandchildren
say
to
no.
go, but you have to say, no, it'd be okay. And you're not doing this task as a friend. It's not your job.
Right.
You would like them to love you. You hope that they'll love you, but that's not your job. Your job is to raise these children. And so that means not being a friend. I don't, I'm sad if you don't think of me as a friend and because I'm not going to do anything to hurt you, but my job is to see if you try to stay alive until you're 18 years old or grown. But at 18 years old, you got to get a boyfriend, pay rent off of that. All right, so I'm going to ask a couple of more questions. I'm just going to let you kind of wind this up. And I just so thank you, ladies, for being willing to talk about it. And we're going to get a lot more in depth because we're going to have a lot of other grandparents on here. And I hope that each of you get some more grandparents and come on every Thursday at 8 o'clock. And let us talk about some of these things because there are issues that we can begin to talk about and make some changes. And some of the issues that I want to talk about, Renee, are some of the legal issues that you ran into in getting custody get legal issues that you ran into in getting custody for
Right.
your child, because a lot of times children are brought over to mom, but they didn't give them any custody. And then you can't go to the doctor, you can't enroll them in school, you can't do anything because you don't have legal custody. And then on top of that, you dropped them off, but you didn't say anything about food or clothes or money or help or anything. So I'm stuck here. If I didn't know I could get kinship care, I'm struggling. I'm struggling. If I didn't know I could get other the specific health issues, then you can get some subsidy through Social Security. I'm struggling, but these are the things that people don't know. They know they're left with this child, and the child has to eat and get clothes. How are you supported by that? We want to help other grandparents understand that there are resources out there. Now, he didn't say it was easy. It's not necessarily easy. And again, it might ruffle some feathers because sometimes you have to go to VHS and say, listen, this child was brought to me last night. I need kinship care, which means VHS has to get involved, and which means they're going after the parents. That's not my problem. My problem is this child has to be popular. And since you're not doing it, I have to get some support somewhere. So if it hurts your feelings, oh, well, I'm so sorry to hear that, but that's just the way it is. So can we talk about a minute, because we're going to wind up here, about some of the rewards helping to raise your child, helping to raise your child again? What are some of the things that you're finding, Renee, in terms of
You
rewards?
say rewards,
Yes.
or repeat that question again. You say rewards from it?
Yes. Talk about the rewards. What the joy of raising a child again. What have you found some of the rewards to be?
Well, he's my little partner, because at this age, like I said, I'm an empty nester home. I don't have no family that's around me. So having him brought joy into my life. It was a struggle to get everything legalized because I need the funds in order to take care of him. Uh, Even just to go to the doctors or go to school or anything that I want him involved in, I have to have the legal rights to do it. So once all the legalities are taken care of, then I'm just mommy. I'm actually in a functioning role as a mom now because he's mine's now, and I can now do a lot of things without asking permission from his parents that had no involvement in his life.
Yeah.
So it's a joy now, where before I was always on pins and needles because I was fearing, is one of them going to show up and take him away when the law says that they're not supposed to. I'm always worried about him being kidnapped, that kind of thing. When they're legally been found unfit to a degree. So at this point, I can breathe. I can breathe now.
Okay. So have you found how has it helped you to grow and increase your resilience with issues that you're dealing with personally?
Well, I also have a lot of health issues, that I'm getting over with now. It's funny. See, I rode a bicycle today.
Oh, well, that's good.
So I'm hoping he and I will go bike riding together. I always look for ways that he and I can enjoy each other's company. So that's my thing, is just to see old age. I forgot what the question was, but it's basically I'm trying to do
personal growth. Have you grown as a result of caring for him?
Yes. Basically, I'm caring more about myself.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? I'm now finding. I guess I'm coming out now. I guess I'm growing in that way. I mean, it's a lot of things I'm gonna put off. A lot of my different businesses and things like that. I kind of shut things down because he came into my life just to attend to him. But
Yeah.
now I got it to the point where he's of age now, and I can start looking to take care of me, you know, health wise, mental wise, get back to what are my goals and dreams are. Um, I see that now in my forecast, where I put a lot of those things aside, because he was so young and needed so much help due to his autism. But he'll be back in school on Monday, so I
Okay.
get my life back. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So it's all about me trying to take care of myself and not let him be let him be all about. It's not, how do I say this? Being a grandparent, you need to take care of yourself,
Yeah.
and you have to have a life for yourself,
Yes.
and you can't just stop doing things that you would like to do. And you find yourself doing that and catering to these little ones
Yeah.
because you got to be all these things to them. They parent, they grandparent, they parents, all those things to them. But you lose yourself in the meantime.
Hmm.
So now I'm on my way, climbing that ladder back to where I can breathe, take in some air, and start looking at me and taking care of me now.
Very,
You
very
know,
good. Be
yeah.
Beatrice, do you have any input into that statement?
I agree to taking care of yourself. I've done so much, you know, putting a back on myself from my kids and from my grandkids, trying to help my kids with their kids. Yes, I have put on a can't hear, I can't see. Okay, now it's my turn to start taking care of, the physical of me.
Right, right.
And, and that's the hardest part to learn when you've done so much for your family and then say, okay, it's you. You be like, duh, what I do? Act like you never knew what to do. But it is time now, we senior citizens, because, we're getting older and we got to keep moving and keep in shape so we can stay a little longer to give them
Right.
kisses goodnight. So I
Mhm.
agree with Renee.
Well, I agree with both you ladies for a couple of reasons. One, um, you can't stop your life. And many grandparents say, well, when do I get a break? It's just that there's a adjustment period, but it does end. And things can settle down, but you can't take care of anybody, if you're sick and down,
Right.
Right.
physically, mentally, or spiritually. So you got to take care of yourself, your health, and your happiness. You
Right.
can't take your happiness. You can put it to the back burner for a little bit of time, but that is not healthy to do it for a long time. If you choose to um, travel, my girls are my traveling buddies, so I'm going to travel.
Right.
We gonna pack up the car because I drive. I'll get in the car and I drive. I'll drive anywhere. Because
I
I'll drive a van, I'll drive a truck. I don't care. I can drive.
Okay.
Okay. And so we're gonna pack up the car and we're gonna go. Or we're gonna fly or do whatever else we're gonna do. But traveling is important to me. Um, I'm in school. The doctorate that you see in my name is an honorary doctorate. I'm in school for curriculum and
Yeah.
instruction, getting a doctorate degree because I believe that the way they're teaching our kids today is not going to work for the kids of the
Right.
future. So we have to find some new mechanisms. Now at 70 something years old, they say, well, I taught the old way. You stand in school, you sit down, shut up, and follow my rules.
I'm
But
so
that
proud
does
of you. Yes.
but that doesn't work today. And so I want to
Right.
be part of that. And I also just feel that because I've been in education for 40 years, raised a few kids, I have some experience that I can help other grandparents and parents raise their children more, not more effectively, but less trauma on the parent and grandparent. So I want to do that, and that's why I have the podcast. So
Mhm.
winding it up, ladies, is there any last minute things that you would like to say? I so appreciate you, Miss Renee Zachary, coming and joining with me. I think it was fun. It's great to see you.
Same here.
I'm
Yes, it's
It's
great.
great to see we B and I have been talking. We got to catch up with Renee. We got to catch up with Renee. So it's good to see your face. And in fact, talking about driving, I'm going to be near you, but not quite enough over toward you. I'm going to be all
Okay. I
in.
gotta get in the car. That's my problem. I have been dealing with, I guess, the depression part and just feeling free again. To get behind the wheel and just drive. Anxiety. So now that Georgie's older, now I'm ready to get back on the road. And I laugh at myself because I used to have a CDL, and now it's like, girl, which Dwayne said means CDL means can't drive a lick. But I ain't care. I don't care.
Look,
But I got to get back on the horse again. So yes, I'm gonna get out there.
One of the things that Beatrice and I said, it's important to make you happy.
Right.
Make you happy, because you can't make Georgie happy if you're depressed and you have anxiety. You can't make him happy. You can't be there for him if you're having all of those. And I'm sorry, I got this thing. You can't break my peace. I'm sorry. I love you so much, but you're not gonna break my peace. And I have in life, just about the fact that God wakes me up every morning. That's my joy. I start with. So unless you're gonna top that, you know, it's not.
Yeah, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I can feel it. The old Renee is coming out. I'm ready to do this, so yes, I'm getting there. He's 5 now, so it's coming. I can
And it
feel it.
does. Okay,
Yeah.
so much. Thank you so much. Any closing remarks you have, Beatrice?
No, I just feel that yes, as grandparents, we do have to make a start and to love on our grands because we're not going to stop that. But we have to find a way for ourselves and learn to love on ourselves so we can be better grandparents to all of us.
To all of our children, I agree. Again, I thank you so much, ladies. It's been a conversation. We've been here probably for a little bit more than an hour. So we have a lot to say, and there's a lot more to say. So
Right.
again, hopefully next Thursday, I'm recording this. We will be playing this tomorrow. But next week we'll be live. So come and bring some friends. Let's talk some more because we didn't even scratch the surface.
All right.
But we have a lot to talk about because we can, even in our senior moments here, make a difference in the lives, not only of children, but of other people, and help
Right.
them through. Some of them feel that they are just lost themselves. They're lost. Their kids are angry with them. Their grandchildren are angry with them. Everybody's angry with them. So we need to work on that. And that's why I call the podcast Fostering Lives, because that's what we're doing. We're
Right.
fostering lives of millions of children in this country. So again, thank you so very much. I hope you got a lot out of it. And we will see you next Thursday. And look for this tomorrow on Facebook and YouTube at 8 o'clock. Have a great
Okay.
night. Bye-bye now.
Good night. Love y'all.
Love
Good
you
night.
too.
Love you too. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.